Your weakness is not a wall. It is a compass pointing you toward your true strength. Welcome to Story Studio 91. Today, we bring you a story about a boy who could not read but built for 100 companies and changed the world. His name is Richard Branson, and his journey proves that the things that make you different are the things that make you unstoppable. Richard grew up in England in the 1950s. School was torture for him. The letters on the page danced and twisted. Words made no sense. His teachers thought he was lazy. His classmates thought he was stupid. Richard had dyslexia. But back then, nobody understood what that meant. They just thought Richard was not trying hard enough. Every day at school was humiliation. Teachers shouted at him. Other children laughed at him. Richard felt like a failure. He was 16 years old and could barely read or write. His headmaster told him something that would haunt him for years. The headmaster said, "Branson, you will either end up in prison or become a millionaire." Richard was so hurt, so angry. But something inside him refused to accept that school defined his future. He decided to drop out. Everyone told him he was making the biggest mistake of his life. His parents worried. His teachers said he would fail at everything. But Richard saw something they did not see. He noticed that he was good at things school did not measure. He was good with people. He could see opportunities others missed. He could convince anyone of anything. Richard started a student magazine. He had no money. He had no experience. But he had an idea, and he refused to let dyslexia stop him. He called companies and asked them to buy advertisements. He was just a teenager with a dream. Most people hung up on him, but Richard kept calling. He learned that every no brought him closer to yes. The magazine became successful. Richard made his first money, but he wanted more. He wanted to prove that he was not stupid, that dyslexia did not define him. He noticed something interesting. His friends loved music, but records were expensive. Music stores were boring and unfriendly. Richard saw an opportunity. He decided to sell records through the mail at discount prices. He called his company Virgin because he knew nothing about business. He was a virgin in the business world. Everyone told him it would fail. How could a dyslexic school dropout compete with big record companies? But Richard did not compete the normal way. He did things differently. He made buying music fun. He treated customers like friends. He answered their letters personally, even though writing was difficult for him. Virgin Records grew. Richard opened a record store, then another. Then he opened a recording studio. He signed unknown bands that big labels rejected. One of those bands was the Sex Pistols. Everyone said they were too controversial, too dangerous. No record label would touch them. But Richard saw what others missed. He saw that being different was not a problem. It was power. The Sex Pistols became huge. Virgin Records exploded. Richard became a millionaire before he turned 30. But he did not stop. He could have retired. He could have said, "I proved everyone wrong. I am done." Instead, Richard looked for the next impossible thing. He started an airline. Virgin Atlantic. Everyone in the aviation industry laughed. Starting an airline required hundreds of millions of dollars. It required expertise. It required connections. Richard had none of those things. What he had was belief that the impossible was just unexplored. The big airlines tried to destroy him. They spread rumors. They blocked his planes. They tried to steal his customers. It was a war. Richard almost lost everything. There were nights when he did not sleep, days when he wanted to quit, moments when bankruptcy seemed certain. But Richard remembered something. He remembered that everyone always underestimated him. From his teachers to his headmaster to every business expert, they all said he would fail. And every time, he proved them wrong. Virgin Atlantic survived. Then it thrived. Richard created the most customer-friendly airline in the sky. He put bars on planes. He made flying fun. He broke every rule the boring airlines followed. Then Richard did something even crazier. He started a space company, Virgin Galactic. He decided to take tourists to space. Scientists said it was impossible. Engineers said it was too dangerous. Investors said it was a waste of money. Richard did not care. He had heard impossible his entire life. Today, Richard Branson owns over 400 companies. Virgin Group spans airlines, space travel, trains, hotels, gyms, mobile phones, and more. He's worth billions of dollars. But here is what makes Richard's story truly extraordinary. He still cannot read well. He still struggles with dyslexia every single day. Richard writes his ideas on napkins and scraps of paper because formal writing is hard. He hires people who are good at things he is not. He builds teams around his weaknesses. Most people hide their weaknesses. Richard made his weakness his superpower because dyslexia forced him to think differently. He saw opportunities others missed because reading was hard. He learned to listen better than anyone because school rejected him. He learned to trust his instincts over credentials. Richard says dyslexia was the best thing that ever happened to him. It taught him that being normal is overrated, that the world does not need another person who fits in. The world needs people who stand out. He hires people with dyslexia. He funds dyslexia research. He tells young people struggling in school that grades do not measure potential. Tests do not measure greatness. Richard's headmaster said he would end up in prison or become a millionaire. That headmaster was wrong. Richard became a billionaire, and he did it by being exactly who he was told he could never be. Today, Richard is 74 years old. He still starts new companies. He still breaks rules. He still does things people say are impossible. He flew across the Atlantic in a hot air balloon. He kite surfed across the English Channel. He went to the edge of space in his own spacecraft. People ask him why he takes such risks. Why does he keep pushing boundaries when he has already won? Richard says because life is not about playing it safe. Life is about finding out what you're capable of. And you never find out by doing what everyone else does.